What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Titans Rossi channel. It is Titans Rossi Thirsty Thursday. Excited to have a show tonight. Excited to have these awesome guests that we got on the show. They're all first-time visitors on the show. They're all definitely supporters of me and the Titan Upload Network. So we're gonna have Lee from the 615 podcast here, James, the Big Sportsman, and none other than Al Pierce, the one and only Oilerstruck. I know a lot of you know Al Pierce, and I'm excited to have him on the show tonight. Excited to have all these guys, and it's going to be a great show. Had an awesome day for the channel, for the network. We released a video earlier. We're going to talk about that. And it got over right now where it stands. It's almost at 7,000 views, I think. Let me see here. So it's getting up there in views, and I've never had a video really take off like that. Yeah, it's almost at 7,000 views. So thank you very much for all the support, and the channel just passed over 700 subs. So we're at 715 since the third, I think it was right at the start of training camps when we started. So late July, maybe, when training camp started. So the channel is rocking and rolling, and it's because of you guys. And I greatly appreciate that. I want to play a little intro video here, and then we'll get rolling. We'll bring some of these guys on the show. It's going to be an awesome show. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Tell your buddies. Tell your buddies tomorrow at work if they're Titans fans. Hey, check out Titans Rossi. Tell anybody you know that are Titans fans. Tell them to check us out. This channel is a part of the Titan Upload Network, and shout out the Titan Upload. And we're a team, and we try to give you guys good quality content. Basically around the clock as much as we can. And so here we go. It's a new little intro I got here, so hope y'all enjoy.
Hey, what's up, Titan Nation? Jalen Fly here. I'm outside of practice facility, man. It's probably about 7 o'clock, about 50-something degrees. I don't know where this wind chill came from. Even got the it's sprinkling out here, man. Check this out, man. I am not a long shot. I'm not a scrub. I don't know what that perception is. I'm not an underdog.
So there it is. That's Jalen Fly. He'll be on the show again soon. I love that quote. I'm not a long shot. Nobody's a long shot. Everybody's got a chance. I don't care where you're from, what you've done in life. Everybody's got a chance to do whatever they want to do. So with that said, we're going to bring these guys in here. We got Lee from the 615, Al Pierce, and the Big Sportsman. What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
What's up? Just coming on here to join the fun.
What's up? Tighten up.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this show. I'm excited to have you guys on here. We got some stuff to talk about, as always, right? We're Titans fans. We like talking about our team. We're passionate. I got to put my phone on vibrate too. There you go. But we're passionate about our team. We're a small market team. We love the boys in two-tone blue, and that's just how we roll. So I kind of wanted to start it off with, because everybody's had a chance to talk about this, and we on this channel, I know we haven't talked about it yet, and we won't get into it too long. And I want to start off with the Big Sportsman, because I know you kind of have some inside info on it that you want to share, and I'd like to get into it with you. So basically, Keyshawn Johnson. We're just going to start off with that and kind of get through it. I don't want to hit on it too much, because everybody's just beating it up this week. So why does Keyshawn Johnson hate the Tennessee Titans, James? Like, fill us in on this and what you know.
Well, it kind of starts that Keyshawn Johnson and Jeff Fisher know each other from the USC days. And they've known each other for a long time, and they're friendly, they're friends. And in 2007, Keyshawn Johnson was notified that he was going to be released, and he had already stated that there was only a couple places he wanted to play. There were several teams that were interested in him, but he wasn't interested in them. And of course, Jeff Fisher was the head coach at the time, and the Titans Bud Adams had just hired Mike Reinfeldt as the GM. And Mike Reinfeldt really didn't want to have to deal with Keyshawn. So he was adamantly against it. And Jeff Fisher had made overtures in the media that he really wanted him, and he was really looking at him, and he's really going to try to press to get him on the team. And Reinfeldt and Fisher really butted heads over this, and it ends up going to Bud Adams. Bud Adams eventually says, no, this is not the kind of person we want on our team. And Keyshawn has been angry ever since, because he felt that he had something left in the tank, that he could come to the Titans and be successful. And ever since then, whenever he talks about the Titans, you hear him talk negatively about the Titans. And it's going to be that way. I mean, because Keyshawn is that kind of a person where if you slight him in any way at any time, he's a very emotional guy. He's not going to, he holds grudges. There's a reason why he's been released from every team he's ever played on. There's a reason why he's, that all this happened, and in 2 days, it was a day or two later after the Titans notified his agent that they were no longer interested. That's when he announced his retirement and his deal with ESPN. He had been holding off on that. He'd had that deal for a while because he was, the Panthers had already told him that he could talk about contracts with other people, and ESPN had approached him. But he really wanted to play for the Titans, and he really wanted to play for Jeff Fisher because he really, really felt that he had something that he could go with, and that Jeff Fisher would put up with his crap.
Wow, that's interesting, man. And he does seem like the type of player that would hold a grudge like that. What do you guys think about, like, and we'll start with Al and then we'll get to Lee here, but Al, and what do you think about, like, Keyshawn's career, basically his attitude, his whole career? What is your opinion on Keyshawn?
Well, I thought he was a cancer on every team he played, and I would have felt the same way. I would not have wanted him on my team. Did he have talent? Sure. I don't think he ever reached his potential, though. But, I would have whoosh, let it flush.
Well said. And Lee, what do you think about? Were you a fan of Keyshawn? When you were younger, or anything like that, or
no? And of course, Al took the word out of my mouth. That's the same thing with him, just like OBJ. They're both a locker room cancer.
Yeah, and
every locker room they've stepped foot in has been turned upside down.
That is true, and there are players like that throughout. It seems like I don't know if you would necessarily call, like, OBJ one of them. Like, I don't know if he's necessarily, like, turned locker rooms upside down, but he has caused problems. His dad posting videos and stuff like that. And James, I want to ask you this too. Just kind of, with your football knowledge, I know you've done some coaching, right, and stuff like that. What do you think about, like, we saw how the Rams played against who did they play? Who did they get? Who beat them real bad this week? The 49ers?
Yeah.
How do you think OBJ is going to fit into this Rams offense eventually? Or do you think they're going to kind of just try and force feed him the ball, and it's going to be the same thing that happened in Cleveland?
Well, it depends on which player they get. If they get OBJ, then no. Because he's going to be the second option in that offense. He really is. But if he's Odell Beckham Jr., then yeah, he's going to fit in just fine. There's a difference between those. It's like T.O. and Terrell Owens. When Terrell Owens was Terrell Owens and not T.O., he was a heck of a player. He was a heck of a player. He played the game but you know, OBJ is not Odell Beckham Jr. He's a different player when he's like that. He is, I don't know how to explain, intolerable at times. He doesn't turn over, cause I don't think he's a cancer on the locker room. I think he's just so disruptive to the organization that everyone is answering questions about him so much that they get frustrated with him. Yeah. And once they get frustrated with him, they just kind of try to write him out of the playbook as much as possible. Would he be effective if they just ignored it? Probably. But, I mean, you can't ignore something that bad. I mean, no player that I've ever seen has been able to overcome their ego when it comes to on the field versus off the field. It's the team is a unit. And once that unit is broken up by someone, it's hard to put them back together with that person still pushing the team apart.
Yeah, that's and I remember too back in the day when Terrell Owens was playing, and I don't know if this was I want to say this was when he was with Dallas, and maybe it was later, but do y'all remember the time they found a bunch of pills in a drawer? It was like pain pills, and he was gonna overdose or do something like that or purposely overdose, and it was just a crazy, weird type of thing, and it was always like that with Terrell. I mean, yes, he's one of the best too. And something else I want to start off with before we get into some of this game stuff is and what's going on now stat wise with the Titans is I'm sure y'all heard the news today, and like I brought it up in the intro with Derrick Henry. Diana Rossini came out and basically said what I said 5 or 6 days ago, and basically the exact same thing. And I had a source on that, and I was very very solid with the source. And I'm not the type of guy that comes on and just says stuff to say stuff or says stuff to get views and clicks and clout and all that stuff. Like I'm not going to say something unless I believe it's 100% true, and I believe in the person that told me being 100% true. You know what I mean? And she confirmed it today. You know what I mean? I'll play the video, and this was my video from the earlier that I call it Titans viral. It's got about 7,000 views at the moment, but we'll go ahead and play it and then we'll talk about it. Sorry I got here late. What's the news on Henry? So yeah, the news is again, and I have a very close source to the medical staff. He's a friend of mine that has a close source to the medical staff. And this is somebody who is basically working directly with Derrick Henry. And he basically said that Derrick Henry is healing just fine, and the doctors are saying that he is going to be back before the season.
Connected to the organization, trying to get a sense. What's up with Derrick Henry? Is he coming back? There is optimism that he will be back early January, right? So just think about
early January,
that is
possibility.
Perfect timing for this team for the playoffs to begin. So do not count the Tennessee Titans out if you're not impressed with
that. Is sneaky big news. Early January, him coming back could make all the difference.
There's a feeling if all goes well, if all goes well, and they don't like to do timelines there in Nashville, but
got that vibranium.
You know, Derrick Henry's going to do what he needs to do to get back out there.
So there you go. You heard it first. Remember, you heard it first on the Titans Rossi channel. So what do you guys think about this? Like, we've heard all year that listen, I had a guy, and I'll start off with this. I had a guy, and I've had a lot of comments today, some naysayers, some haters, some doubters. So, and a lot of good comments too, mostly good comments. But I had a guy basically say, that's stupid, blah, 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 ha, 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 this and that. And I said, well, are you a doctor? And he said, no, but I've had the same injury. And I saw the guy's picture, and I'm not trying to judge anybody just from looking at him. But in my opinion, and I've watched football for a long time and many different sports, this guy, he didn't really look like an athlete to me. And so I asked him in rebuttal, and I said, are you a supreme athlete? Are you one of the best athletes that's ever played football in the history of the sport? Are you built like Derrick Henry? And cricket. So what do you think, Lee? Do you think a guy like Derrick Henry is capable of, and I know we're not doctors here, but do you think we'll get him back before the season? Basically, that's what you're saying.
In a short answer, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I feel like Derrick is going to hit this recovery how he does his offseason. He's going to hit it hard and get back.
And Al, and I want to ask you this, Al, too. So we've talked about this throughout the season. Since Henry's been gone, a lot of people have said, well, if we can learn how to play as an offense without Derrick Henry, kind of get the kinks out, imagine what we could be with Henry. What is your opinion on that? Do you think this is something like when Henry comes back, we're instant Super Bowl contenders? Are we still Super Bowl contenders without him if we get a bye seed?
I'd say yes on all fronts there. I'd like to see. I think he's going to come back early as well, and I'm hoping that he can come back to get some carries in that very last game of the season, so that we get him ready, because he's going to be rusty a little bit. So to get him out there, get him running the ball a few times, I think would be great against the Texans. I believe it is at the end, to get him ready for the playoffs. But yes, I do think having him is going to be a big boost for the team. But I think the key, and this is a coaching point for that, our defense has risen to the occasion right now. And that's got to continue when he comes back. They can't say, oh, Derrick's back, we can take it easy. They got to bring it, and they can't stop bringing it. And I think that's going to be a key to winning that Super Bowl, whether we have Derrick or we don't have Derrick. For the playoffs.
And what do you think about it, James? What do you think about the whole situation? Just kind of give me your rundown of it.
Well, I've looked into the surgery quite a bit. First of all, I would ask that guy, did he have the best of the best surgeons in the U.S. Collaborating and working on this and doing it? Does he have the medical staff that's going to be rehabbing every day with him, doing the exercises with him, making sure he's doing them 2, 3, 4 times a day? And are you an elite athlete? How quickly do you heal versus Derrick Henry? Those types of things. Now, what I've looked into the surgery is that my understanding is that the part that takes the longest is when they do the bone graft to the metal. My understanding is that takes time to heal. That is the largest portion of the time to heal, is that bone graft has to grow and it has to get strong and stable, and that just takes time. And you're putting a lot of pressure on that portion of your foot when you're running and cutting. So they want to make, I would imagine they want to make sure that he's 100% before he comes back. And if he's capable of doing, 3 or 4 carries in one game, just as kind of, hey, let's get out there and trust it. I mean, when I've had athletes come back from surgeries and injuries, they didn't trust that it was okay. That's a mental aspect of the game. That
exactly.
The only way to do it is to really do it.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think he can come back. I think he will be back. I think it will be devastating. I think really what concerns me the most about the Titans is their right side of the offensive line is still not playing very well. They're still giving up too much. They're not getting those. They're not identifying twists coming in from the left side of the defensive line over to the right side. They're not identifying those and not taking those on. We've got to figure out something with that right side of the offensive line, because I would call it a kind of putting a screen door on a submarine. I mean, that's what it seems like to me when I watch them play.
And Nate Davis has been, man, I really thought Nate Davis would have probably one of his best years this year. I mean, last year he did good, and it's concerning. And of course he's hurt now, and Aaron Brewer's been in there, so we'll see what happens. I do want to get to some of the people in the chat, and I there's been 20-30 people in here, and I really appreciate you guys in the chat and commenting and everything. You make this show what it is. So DWS 420, how's it going, Rossi? Thank you very much on that. It's been awesome today. How's it going, Coda's a big follower of the channel. I don't know if it's a he or she. I can't see the picture there. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong, but thank you very much too. Bryce Pratt says, "Are you ready for the game?" Yeah, I think we're all ready for the game. I'm always ready for a Titans game on Sunday. Kent Woods, shout out to Kent Woods and Kent Woods and his foundation. He's got a pretty cool foundation that he started where he takes less fortunate kids who are sick on hunting trips and stuff like that. And it's a pretty cool thing he's doing. Aiden Clark, Mac Jones is looking pretty good. Yeah, he is. And we'll kind of get into that New England game a little bit too. Titan Rob, what's up? Paulie D's in here. Big supporter of the channel. Let's see who else we got in here. I saw Upload in here. And Upload said the video just hit 7K. So shout out to Upload. That's awesome. Titan Anderson, one of my good buddies as well. And go follow Titan Anderson if you haven't yet. He brings the heat every week. So TA and Upload are my dudes. So shout out to both of them. Lisa's been a follower of the channel lately, of uploading us. So shout out to you too, Lisa. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dirts, what's up, Dirts? He said the 12th Titan this week is going to be Javon Curse. That's awesome. And I saw somebody made a comment too that it was Warren Moon's birthday. So happy birthday to the GOAT, Warren Moon.
That's right.
Sure. Wrath of the Titans. I like Big Al and 615 too. So you got a follower there, Al. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And I just noticed, Al, your setup there and your jerseys are awesome. And Frank Wycheck is and remember when we had the whole Y2K thing was going on, and Mike Keith would go Y2K check, and and I see the blinking light there too. That's cool. But yeah, Wycheck was one of my favorite players, man. He was incredible, and I love all those guys, man. They're Finnegan, of course, Jarrell Casey. Casey was a beast. I was very sad when we traded him. It sucked, but it is what it is, right? So I'm going to get into some of this stuff too. Like we'll kind of get into the Texans and the Titans a little bit here, and we'll just kind of pop this up here. So these are our team leaders. You can see here Tannehill. Tannehill's actually, as far as yards go, I think he's like 15th in the league, something like that. In yards, of course. Now, Derrick Henry is still tied for first in the league in rushing yards. I think he's tied or still leads the league in touchdowns. So that just shows you his greatness. He's, third week, and he's still tied for the league with Jonathan Taylor. A.J. Brown, we'll get into that a little bit. the drops. Harold Landry 10 sacks. Kevin Byard 5 interceptions. David Long with the leads the team in tackles. He's been a little banged up. And so, what do y'all think of AJ Brown lately? What's going on with him? Why is he dropping the ball so much? Does it stem back from the Rams game? What do you think this is? And we'll start with Oilerstruck on this one.
Well, having been a former receiver myself,
all right,
when you get into a funk and you start dropping passes, it's contagious and it continues. It's hard to get it out of your head. You begin to press a little bit. And so I think he's in that frame of mind right now. And then if you complicate it with the depression that he's talking about, it could probably make it a little worse. But I think he'll come around. I really do. And I really wish Julio was back out there, not just because we need him on the field, but AJ really looks up to him. And I think him being out there together will help AJ just from the standpoint of having a mentor playing beside him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. And James, what do you think about it too? What do you think about? So recently, it's come out about the whole thing. He, thought about taking his life last year. I don't know how he is with the depression now. Do you know anything more about that, or?
I don't. But what I do want to say is I think the NFL should start taking mental health more seriously. Like they have trainers and doctors on every single staff in the NFL, and multiples of those. They should have that in mental health for each club. Each club should be required to have these facilities for these things. And the club, while the club may pay for them, it should be between the player and the doctor. Now, I just don't think that the NFL takes it seriously. It's always been these are tough guys. Tough guys don't need that. Well, that's bull. That's biggest load of bull I've ever heard in my life. And tough. It doesn't matter how tough you are. There are times that everybody needs help, and these players, I think they deserve it. They're out there every day, blood, sweat, and tears. Going through things that we could only imagine. So my personal feeling on it is get them the help they need before they even know they need it. And we'll have a lot less of this. And don't stigmatize it. Encourage it. Maybe say, hey, one day a week, this group's going to go see, the doctor, and everybody has to go see a trainer. I mean, you might as well go in and say everybody needs to go see a mental health professional and have those people on staff so that they don't even have to leave the building and it stays within the building.
That's a good point, man. And with everything that's gone on in the last year or so, COVID and all that stuff. I mean, a lot of people are dealing with stuff like that. I dealt with it years ago. Now it was kind of brought on because of a reason, and I'm not going to go into it, but I mean, it's something that I would say everybody's dealt with something mentally at some point in their life. And so, I hope he does get the help he needs. If he is dealing with, I don't know how serious it is now. I think he said today he was kind of through it now. And Lee, I want to get your take on this too. Like, what do you think about as far as, I guess to say, do you think he's going to bounce back this game against Houston? Will this be a confidence game for him?
Well, there's one stat I don't know if most of y'all know. He's had several 100-yard games against the Houston Texans. But the one stat that's down is he's not had a touchdown against them. So do I think he bounces back? Yes. And I say he also gets 2 touchdowns against Houston this week.
Yeah. And Mark Sumter says AJ, and he made a good point here. AJ's missed a block on the outside, may have led to Jeremy Nichols' concussion. His effort hasn't been there. So, I mean, that might be something too. Is his effort all the way there? Is his mind here? And somebody too, and this really hurt my fantasy team a lot. Now, I know somebody's mental health, it doesn't matter to my fantasy team. But Calvin Ridley, I had him in both leagues, and and he's been out. But I mean, like you said, man, it's part of life, and I wish the best for everybody, and prayers for everybody, and whatever else they need to get them through the day and everything else. We had a couple of comments here I wanted to read out, and it was to a couple of you guys in here. And Wrath of the Titan says, does Big Sportsman have a channel? I want to sub. So, Big Sportsman.
Yes. I am developing my channel. We're seeing the beginnings of my studio here. I've been working on it. I've been actually talking with Titans Rossi about it quite a bit. We've been texting back and forth. He's told me a whole bunch of stuff. Got the camera for it. I have the lighting. Just now getting all this together, and my wife's putting up with it. So I'm hoping to have my first show sometime next week. It was going to try to be this week, but some family matters came up. So so it's going to end up being probably sometime next week. I'm trying to figure out good days because I don't want to. I personally enjoy watching. Rossi here. I enjoy watching Upload. There's several I enjoy watching, and I don't want to miss those either. So I'm kind of, trying to juggle a time and date that I can do them. I'm wanting to do some film breakdown with people live so that they can ask questions as the film breakdown, because lots of times that kind of stuff doesn't get done. I tell you, this guy is supposed to be running this type of route in this type of way. Well, you need to answer, if you want to have a question, well, why is he supposed to be running it that way and not this way? I can answer why. Yeah.
And that's awesome, man. Like any help you need, I'm just a phone call, text away. So, and Lee, we had somebody, Lisa said, I want to sub to all these guys, and Wrath of Titans said, second, Lisa, somebody really likes your flag, Lee. So let them know where they find you. I'm gonna real quick, I'm gonna turn this thing off because it's kind of eating up my Wi-Fi. So I'll let you explain that. I'll be right back. But yeah, let them know where they can find you, Lee.
So, of course, I have some stuff here on YouTube under my name, Lee Hillis, here on YouTube. Instagram is at @the_615 podcast, and Twitter is at podcast615.
That's pretty cool.
All right, there we go. Sorry, guys. I mean to turn my Xbox off when I start these things because it eats up my Wi-Fi.
For me, you can find me at Oilerstruck on Twitter, or you can find me on Facebook at Al Pierce, Pastor Al Pierce, because my son is also pastor, and you'll find him as Pilot Al Pierce. So, but there is a YouTube channel called Oilerstruck that hasn't been used in probably 20 years, but it's out there with nothing on it. So, but Oilerstruck on Twitter.
And Al, I wanted to ask you about this too, because like I said, I know you're a pastor, and I've watched one of your sermons before, and I love the word you give out, man. It's awesome. And but you told me the other day that you used to be on a radio show, or they played some things that you did on a radio show, and that was in Houston. Just kind of explain like how long you've been a fan and of the team, the Oilers and the Titans, and what you did for that radio show.
I've been an Oiler fan since I was born. Since the team was born, because we were born about the same time. That shows you how old I am. But so I grew up an Oilers fan. Growing up in Texas back then, you had the AFL and the NFL. So you were both a Cowboys fan and a Oilers fan. Then when the leagues merged, you had to start hating the other team because they were in the way. But we always believed that God intended the Super Bowl to be played between the Oilers and the Cowboys, and the evil Steelers messed that up in 1979 thanks to a bad reffing call. But we won't go there. But, of course, I moved to Indiana. My team moved to Tennessee. I stuck with my team. So I am a two-tone blue bleeding guy now. And so that's kind of how it is, and that won't change. It'll always be a Cowboy or Oilers, Titans. It don't matter. We're there.
That's awesome, man.
And, a lot of people in Houston get all over you about being a Titans fan if you were an Oilers fan. I don't get it. I really don't get that. It's the same team to me. You know, if they moved to another town, I would follow them.
Yeah, I've heard that. You know, they made a big deal when like the Titans did the thing with the Titans Oilers week and all that stuff. But it is what it is, man. You know, I do want to kind of get into some of this Texans like here. So basically, here's where we stand. The Titans team rankings: 5th in the league in points. 16th in total yards, which that's, you know, we were about 9th, 10th in the last few weeks. We've kind of digressed, which was expected. Passing 23rd, rushing 7th. Obviously, the rushing's going to go down because of what's been going on, not having Henry. Time of possession, you know, that's something that really helped us that we don't really have at the moment because of Henry. Time of possession was a big deal. Points against per game. Now, this is something we've gotten a lot better on. We're 15th. Total yards, we're still 21st in total defense. This is I think this is defense. Yeah, defense against us. 21st. Passing yards, we're 27th, which is bad. Rushing yards, 7th. We're still pretty good. Sacks. Now, sacks is the biggest thing that we're all excited about because we had no pass rush last season. 9th in interceptions. And so the defensive line. Now, Jeffrey Simmons released a video today, or he was on a press conference today saying he did not want to be called the Tennessee Tickle Monsters. And I think what started this, there was a guy – And I asked him for permission to use this video. I never heard back from him. But basically, he's got a site called Titans Film Room, and I'm sure he'd be all right with me using this. But he made this video, and I think kind of he helped start this. And I'm going to play a little bit of it. It's like 2 minutes long, so I'm not going to play all of it. And then we'll go down, and then we'll show the Simmons video. And we got to come up with a better name. Maybe our collective minds together can come up with a better name on this show. But here, we'll play a little bit of this, and then we'll get to what Simmons said about it today.
I don't think there's a group that has impressed me more than the Titans pass rush.
They have the best front four pass rushing defensive line in football.
Most of the time, it was just physically manhandling the Los Angeles Rams offensive line.
Brian Baldinger said that the front four of this defense needs a nickname. The best one is Tennessee Tickle Monsters, just because of how ridiculous it is. But Tennessee Tickle Monsters is obviously the best one.
Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame, it'll pump my stomach. Throw it back up like I don't want it. Wipe my face. y'all done it. Take a fight. Take a fight. Take a fight. I can be critical, never typical. Intricate with every syllable, I'm a criminal. Intimate but never political, pretty visual. Even if Holmes hit from behind, loses the.
So yeah, there you go. The Tennessee Tickle Monster. So before we say anything, we'll get into what Simmons said about this today, and I totally agree with Simmons. So this was during one of his pressers during the presser today.
I saw that. I kind of ignored it. That's not who we are. I see they need to come up with something more aggressive. Tickle Monster sound too, I guess nice. When we on the field, we like to be mean. We like to be aggressive. So I don't like that one.
What's a better fit?
I don't know. They got to come up with something better than that.
So there you go. When Big Jeff says you need to come up with something better than that, we need to come up with something better than that. And let me know in the chat. I see a few people saying we'll put them on the screen. We'll go through them. Let me know in the chat. So what do you guys think? Do any of y'all have a name for them other than the Tickle Monsters? I mean, I think it's a pretty terrible name. What do y'all think?
I just can't stop laughing about
I've got a few. I've got a few. One of them came from Mike Keith. He called them the 300, as in the movie.
All right, that's a good one.
Because you take all four numbers, 98, 96, 58, and 48, add them together, and it comes out to be 300.
That's a good one.
The second one, the Fearsome Four.
All right.
Oh.
Number 3, Broadway Bullies.
All right.
No.
You got any, Al?
The Annihilators is the one I like. Yeah, I don't like anything with the number 4 in it. And the reason is we play a 3-4. So we don't have 4 down linemen. But we did this last game in the second half when they started coming back because we lost all our pass rushers. But we have a 3-4. So we really have 5 guys that are involved on the front besides the 2 inside linebackers. And so you have Tier Tart, who's the guy that gets left out of all this thing, in the middle with Simmons and Autry. And then one of the outside guys is going to be coming with those 3. And the other one's going to be playing linebacker responsibility, flat pass coverage. We saw Landry in the end zone covering a pass this season, which I thought was nuts. But that happens. That's part of that defense. Yeah. But obviously we're making some adjustments with the Bud Dupree gone. But Annihilators, not Tickle Monsters.
So there you go. James, you got any? I don't really have any yet, but
I don't have any yet, but I can't stop laughing at it. Just the whole juxtaposition of how violent these guys are versus Tickle Monsters. It's to me hilarious. And maybe if people don't fear them, they kind of relax a bit. But when you start looking at the film, when they get in there and start looking at the film, they're going to realize we have both hands full, and we need a third, fourth, and fifth hand to handle all this. I don't have one, but I do have to say that is probably one of the most deranged nicknames ever.
It's very weird, and I want to get to some of them. So you see some of ours here on the screen, but I want to get to some of you guys in the chat. Titans Rob says the Music City Monstars. Wrath of the Titans says it's the 4 horse. I like the 4 horsemen. That's kind of cool. But like Al said, the 4 horse, it's not 4, but I guess it is 4 guys, primarily putting in the pressure. Wrath says bringers of the apocalypse. That's pretty that's a pretty big one there. The Elementals. Now Derps says the Elementals. Now and shout out to what's his podcast? I just had him on the other day. Locked on Titans, Tyler from Locked on Titans. So he wrote an article a few weeks ago and called them the Elementals, and it was a really cool article. If y'all haven't read it, go read it. It was on Titans Wire. And I know, Al, I think you've read it, but basically he just said earth, wind, water, and fire related all of them. So I kind of like the Elementals, but at the same time, it's a little too, like, I don't know, superhero sounding to me. I don't know if I would call them that necessarily.
Have you seen how they played? I mean,
yeah. And so let's see if any of y'all got anything else. I like this. I know it's not, but Grand Ole Autry, that's kind of funny. Somebody said on Twitter today to one of my comments, they were talking about the injury report, something about Pico being back, and they were calling him like Pico de Gallo and all this stuff. All these names for these guys coming back. So it was funny. But man, how blessed are we as Titans fans, considering what happened last season, to have a pass rush this season? I mean, it's like a breath of fresh air. You know, it's just it's unbelievable. And Danico Autry might be the biggest signing of this offseason. What sucks is the two guys that we brought in who are, I mean, even though Julio was a trade, he's still making a good amount of money here. The two guys we brought in who we're spending the most money on are the two guys that are habitually hurt. So it's Dupree and Jones, which kind of stinks. So,
Jones is one. He's habitually hurt everywhere. You know, when he was in Atlanta too, it's just
he just played through it.
And I think the Titans are just kind of holding him out. I think he could play. I think they're just kind of holding him out, letting him heal, and saying, "Hey, look, we're going to make a playoff run, and you're going to have to be part of that playoff run. Therefore, we need you 100%." And I can't fault them for that.
Yeah.
Including the tiebreakers, they're what, 4 games up in the division? Is that right? I think including the tiebreakers.
3.
Yeah, 3 plus 1 because we hold the tiebreaker.
Yeah, so 4.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the Colts play. I think the Colts play somebody. They play somebody decent this weekend.
They have Buffalo this week at Buffalo.
Yeah. At Buffalo. So I mean.
Yeah. And then next week they have Tampa.
So I mean, if the Colts, we could literally be, looking at wrapping up this division pretty soon.
And I'm going to say something, and this is coming from Mike Keith. He stated this last night on Titans Tonight. The Titans could lock up the division before the bye week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I heard that too, Lee. Yeah, so that's true, man.
Because
that'd be awesome.
Because really all we have to do is win this week and next week, and then our bye.
Yeah.
So I say we win these next 2, and Indy loses their next 2. Division's ours, pretty much.
And DBS kind of makes a point. Who do we root for, Colts or Bills? Because, honestly, and I'll get y'all's opinion, but if we're shooting for the bye, then we should probably root for the Colts. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I can't do it.
It's
That's
hard.
the truth. Yeah, it's the hard part. Just can't do it.
I'm a University of Tennessee fan, and even when we played, when Peyton Manning was up there, I still couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It hurt my heart.
Fan too. What do you think, Lee?
Yeah,
it's a tough one. I have to go. Titans fans, y'all better not hate me. I have to go Indy on this.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts my heart.
What do you think, Al? Let's get to you. What do you think?
Well, it would really help us for the Bills to lose this game. But it would be very hard for me to sit there and watch the game and not to cheer for the Colts. I don't know that could happen. So I would be happy if the Bills lost, but at the same time, I just can't. I can't say go Colts.
It's tough. Like, it makes me like I'm cringing. My face is kind of like, cringing up. Like, just thinking about it, it makes me. Even my cat's over here, like, cringing up. So, it would. I don't know. That's a tough one. Like, I kind of agree with you guys. Like, to the right of me here, or to the left. I kind of want to see us get this bye. So I don't think the Colts are just going to keep winning, but if they beat the Bills, maybe they do. So that would give them a lot of confidence, and then they go on a tear. I don't know. That's a tough one. Whoever loses, I'm happy with losing, So Keisha Bible, what's up? Keisha's in here, and she's a huge supporter of me, the Titan Upload Network. She's incredible, and she says, I'm not too worried about the game this weekend, but the Patriots game is going to be hard. And let's go ahead. We're getting close to an hour here, and I know we kind of didn't get into a lot of the Texans, which is fine.
Can we all just root for a tie then?
We could. I mean, it
would have the same effect.
Yeah,
there we
could do that. But we could definitely do that. I kind of want to get into your predictions.
Ask Pittsburgh.
Yep, I want to get into your predictions for this Texans and Titans game, and I'll give mine first. Just your score predictions, if you got any yet, and kind of a little synopsis of what you think the game's going to be like. And I think this is going to be a game where we're going to come out and play well, and I think Tyrod Taylor could have an okay game, but I think it's going to be a lot of like type of garbage yards type of stuff. I'm never overly confident as a Titans fan, just because I know in the past we've been known to play down to our competition. But I'm going to say, and a lot of people have been saying, 35, stuff like that, which we might, but I'm going to say, I don't know. I guess we could I'm going to say 28 to 17, but I think it's going to be, I think we're going to be up, and they're just going to kind of be struggling to get back into it. And we'll start with James. Do you got a prediction on the game yet?
I think the key to this game is going to be what I saw in this last game. And I don't know if anyone analyzed it the way I did, but I was watching Adrian Peterson play, and he started to look like he understood where the holes were going to develop and where the cutbacks were. And I think he's going to have a huge game. I think he breaks out in this game, and it's going to be and that's where I think the Texans are going to have a real problem, and I think that's where Tennessee ends up winning the game. I think they're going to jump out to a pretty big score. I think it's probably going to be somewhere around 28-10, and then they're going to have to rely on Tyrod Taylor to. And they're going to have to rely on passing game, which I don't think they have.
Yeah.
And that's where, you're going to see our defensive line just go, oh, fun, great, time to eat.
Yeah.
And then he's going to start making stupid plays, throwing the ball, and and then that's when our secondary just goes up there and starts picking him off. So that's where I think we end up is somewhere around that 28, 31 to 10, somewhere around there.
Okay. Lee, what you got?
So the FPI gave chances to win for the rest of the schedule. They're giving us an 83% chance to win this game.
Yeah.
I think Adrian Peterson, not AP, AJ will have a huge game. I say he should have around 120 through the air and 2 touchdowns. So I'm going Titans 31, Texans 17.
Okay. 31-17.
Yep.
All right. And Al, Oilerstruck himself. What do you got?
Well, I agree that this is going to be the game that the running game gets going. I think collectively we're going to see $150 in yardage. Okay. And I agree that A.J. Brown's going to have a breakout game this game. I'm going to go with 31-10, and it's not even going to be that close. I think we're going to take care of business early, and defense will take over. I wouldn't be surprised to see Woodside get to play a little bit at the end of this game.
All right, so you hear it first here. Woodside might make it in the game, and so I can see all your points there, and I think there's no reason we shouldn't handle this game pretty well. And Houston 777's in the house. He's a follower of this channel. Like, he's always in here. He or she, I always say he. I'm sorry. They're a follower of this channel, and he's a Houston fan, and they're always supporting the channel, so I appreciate it, and very much. All fans are welcome here. It says the Titans and Texans are always close, but last season because we had Watson. Yeah, that's true. Watson was really good last year. I mean, he had one of the best years of his career. It just sucked that that Houston was so bad, they kind of wasted him a little bit. And I'll bring up, I do have the Texans team stats here, and they're pretty bad. Like they're pretty bad here. And I'll take this off of here. But they are 32nd in points scored, and they haven't scored a touchdown on a road game since week 2. Since week 2, they have not scored a touchdown in a road game. Total yards per game, they're 32nd. So last in the league, points and yards. Passing yards is Tyrod Taylor, Mills. They're 28th. Rushing yards, they're 31st. Time of possession, they're 30th. Their defense, points against, they're giving up, listen to this, they're giving up 28.7 points a game. Total yards against per game, 30th. Passing yards, 18th. They're a little better in the pass defense. Rushing yards, they're better than us in pass defense. Rushing yards, they're 31st. Sacks, 20th. Interceptions, they've done a little better with. They're 9th, so they're not far above us. So a couple positives there, but, I mean, of course this year there's so much parity and all that stuff. There's been crazy games, teams winning that you never thought they'd win and stuff like that. But I just think that there's absolutely no reason at all we shouldn't handle this game, even without Henry, even without Julio. There's no reason, this should be a game for AJ to kind of bounce back and have a confidence-building game. Another game for Marcus Johnson to show us some consistency. It would be nice to see Chester Rogers step up. In the passing game, something we haven't seen in weeks.
The guy who I would say if AJ doesn't have a breakout game or they start double and triple teaming AJ, the guy who I would look at is Nick Westbrook-Akina. I really think that he's been playing out of his mind, and they don't have an answer for him. I mean, who are you going to put on him?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other guy who I would say, hey, you got to take a look at. And then I have Nick Westbrook-Akina as my biggest surprise of the season, along with Randy Bullitt. We have a kicking game now. and that kicking game, so we get inside the 30 or 35, we're going to score points as opposed to hope and pray that they score points, So I just don't see Houston being able to put up a huge fight. There's too much of our offense that they would have to cover. And like I said, with the way things are going offensively, if you cover AJ, it's going to take 2.
Yeah.
That means you can't double Westbrook-Akina. That's where I think the problems really come. And then now let's say you say, okay, we're going to double AJ, and we're going to bring in and kind of spy over top with Westbrook-Akina with a safety. Then you're telling me that Adrian Peterson's going to have that open box like that, and he's not going to tear him alive. So at this point, I think you're picking your poison.
Yeah, and I'll ask this for you guys too.
Yeah, and to add to that, you got a guy that.
Are you good, Al? Go ahead.
I was going to say, to add to that, we've got if they do come on AJ with double and triple teams, there's a guy that's been asleep all season long that needs to make an appearance, and his name is Firkser. He needs to be there. If they're on him, the middle of the field, those seams should be open.
He is my biggest disappointment of the season. Really and truly, all the things that I was hearing about him, all the things that he'd worked on in the offseason, he still, I don't know if he could block me, to be honest with you. And I'm old and slow. And
it's been bad.
He couldn't catch a cold right now. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Maybe the game is too fast for him at this point. But Firkser is he's my biggest disappointment of the season, really. That wasn't a rookie. Of course, Dez is probably everyone's biggest disappointment from the draft. I mean, that's rough.
And Lee, do you got anybody that you want to, a breakout player or anything, or somebody you want to see break out this game?
Well, I've already said his name before. A.J. Brown, he needs to step up. He's been ice cold pretty much all year. And I went and pulled back up the game from January. A.J. Brown had 10 catches, 151 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Against Houston last year. And a big chunk of that came on the play that led up to the game-winning field goal.
Yeah. That was the last game of the season?
Yep. In January, going into the playoffs.
Yeah, in January. Yeah, that was the Sam Sloman doink that won the division. So yeah, I agree with you there, Lee, for sure. And Titan Rob, we got Tommy Hudson,
back off IR.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I agree with Firkser has been a massive disappointment. I didn't really have a whole lot of faith in everybody saying, "Oh, Firkser is going to be our number one," and it's like, man, I just didn't see it before the season. I don't see it now. I think you got to go. I mean, I think you roll with Swaim and Pruitt and let those guys just continue to take the reins. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. And shout out to Sauce Monster. I just saw him in here. He's a big supporter of the channel. We love us some Sauce Monster here at the Titan Upload Network. So, and shout out to Ducky too. I've seen him in the chat. But we're going to start wrapping it up, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on the show. It means a lot to me, and it's been an awesome show. I know I didn't get to everything I wanted to get to, but like I said, that's how it goes sometimes, you know. And let them know, and we'll kind of just go around here and let them know where they can find you. Lee, I know somebody asked where they could find you again in the chat, and I'll try to put it on the screen here too, because I know you got a YouTube and podcast, but let them know where they can find you.
Of course, YouTube again is Lee Hillis on YouTube. Instagram is at _615 podcast, and on Twitter is at podcast615. And you can also go to Spotify or anywhere you get your podcast and search Lee Hillis or the 615.
Okay, so it's Lee Hillis on YouTube.
Yes.
And then at the 615. If they type in at the 615, like in the search on these podcast apps, will it pull it up too?
I've had to search my name to find it, but usually you can search the 615.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's where y'all can find him on his podcast and his YouTube. And I've been on Lee's channel a couple times. Lee has some awesome guests on his channel. Like Lee has had Mike Key, Teresa Walker. I think you've had Teron Davenport, right?
I haven't. I've had Jim Wyatt.
Okay.
I've had Corey Curtis, Emily Proud, and Kayla Anderson from WKRN.
That's awesome, man. I've listened to some of those shows, so that's pretty cool. Al, now you mentioned this earlier, but I know they can usually find you in the chats and communicate with you that way, but you know, let them know about your Twitter and stuff, and let them, you know, if you want to shout out your church, you could do that too, like and whatever you got going on, you know.
Okay. Well, on Twitter, you can find me at Oilerstruck. You can also find me at Oilerstruck on Instagram. Al Pierce Pastor on Facebook. Again, I do have a YouTube that was created a long time ago, but there's nothing on it, but it's Oilerstruck as well out there that you feel free to go to. And I'm pastoring at First Baptist Church in Mooresville, so if you hit their website out or Facebook page, either one, you will find sermons or anything else like that there. So, and Rossi and I have talked a little bit about starting another channel that would have to do with giving people access to content for Bible study. So that might one day appear as well.
Yeah, and that is something I do want to talk with you more about. This is Al's information. Like I said, he's a pastor. Go check out his stuff. If you know, go check out his stuff. Go see him preaching. He's an awesome preacher. So go check him out there. And we might do that, man. We might actually do that. I would love to start another channel like that. It'd be really cool. So there you go. It's on the screen there. And now, last but not least, James, the Big Sportsman. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, man, and I know I've been talking to you for months about it, and I'm really excited about you starting a channel. And I think a lot of people, I think you're going to grow quickly. And of course, you're always, I'm going to promote you. And I promote all of you guys too. On Lee, I promote yours. I'm always trying to promote everybody who's putting in work for the Titans. But I'm excited about you starting a channel, man. And if you got more of a kind of concrete time when you're going to start and all that, I know you've been working on things.
Yeah. It will be next week. I was told by the wife it will be next week. So we will be starting it. I will be starting it next week. I think she's kind of tired of me working on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, Titans Rossi, for encouraging me to do it. I mean, I was hesitant, kind of afraid of it, trying to kind of put myself out there like that, and then you were like, just do it. Go ahead and do it. Please do it. And then, bouncing ideas off of you of what kind of content I wanted to create and what kind of content I wanted to do. Thank you so much. You've been a tremendous help with getting all this stuff straightened out and everything. But yeah, I will be uploading next week. Not sure the day, but whatever day I choose, it will always be at least one on that day. And I really want to do, and that includes off season, everything. During the season, off season, postseason, preseason. I won't be doing it on days that Titans have ball games, especially when they're home games, because I'm at the games themselves. So yeah, I will be. It will be up next week. I'll let you know what the channel name is going to be. There's a couple of them I'm waiting for YouTube to approve, because I guess there's an approval process, and also there's a I'm trying to make sure that I get it copyrighted so that it's all legal and everything, so that no one's, hey, I thought of that 2 years ago or whatever, so.
Yeah. And that's awesome, man. Like, you've been awesome to me too. James hooked me up with a ticket for a game one time. I went with him and his family, and shout out to his wife and children. Awesome family, awesome people. So
thank you.
I appreciate it too. So yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll end the show here after I let you guys off here. And thank you guys so much for coming on. We'll do it again. We'll do it again soon. And Lee, I'd love to get you back on soon too, as well.
And I'm going to go ahead and mention the little Rossi. You know about it. And so I'm going along the lines of what Teron Davenport does, what he calls Whiteboard Wednesday. I'll be doing it 2 times a week. It's called Teaching Thursday and Schematic Saturday.
All right. Yeah, that's cool. I think you should, man, like breaking down the plays and stuff like that. We've talked about it, through
we talked about it last week, I think.
Yeah. So in A-Name, he says, at this rate, we're going to have like 24 Titans YouTube channels. And I love it. I love it too, man. Like,
oh, yeah.
I don't have anything against it. I think the more channels that we have, the more content, the more, our fan base is going to grow,
Yeah.
So there you go. So anyways, I will see you guys. And thanks for coming on again, man. And tighten up.
Tighten up.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Thanks for having
me. Guys later. Yep. All right, there you go. There's the Big Sportsman, Oilerstruck, and Al Pierce, and super happy to have them on the show. All those guys are awesome, and I try to get guests on here all the time, because you don't want to just hear me blabber and talk, the whole time, all the time, every show. I do have some shows by myself here and there. And I really appreciate you guys, man. Like, I don't know. I want to check we had a video come out earlier about Derrick Henry, and basically just saying, like, you heard it here first. It was a video I put out earlier about Henry, and we'll play it again. Why not? Let's play it again. So this video earlier, maybe some of you weren't in here, and maybe some of you haven't seen it. So we're at 7.4 thousand views on this video from earlier. It's only a minute long, 186 likes, 51 comments on it. So, and it'll kind of self-explanatory, but basically I came out with the Henry info last night that he'd be back, or last week that he'd be back before the season. And then Diana Rossini kind of reported it today. So here we go. We'll play this. Sorry I got here late. What's the news on Henry? So yeah, the news is, again, and I have a very close source to the medical staff. He's a friend of mine that has a close source to the medical staff. And this is somebody who is basically working directly with Derrick Henry. and he basically said that Derrick Henry is healing just fine, and the doctors are saying that he is going to be back before the season.
Connected to the organization, trying to get a sense. What's up with Derrick Henry? Is he coming back? There is optimism that he will be back early January, right? So just think about
early January,
that is
a possibility.
Perfect timing for this team for the playoffs to begin. So do not count the Tennessee Titans out if you're not impressed with
that. Is sneaky big news. Early January, him coming back could make all the difference.
There's a feeling if all goes well, and they don't like to do timelines there in Nashville, but
got that vibranium.
You know Derrick Henry's going to do what he needs to do to get back out there.
So there you go. You heard it first here on Titans Rossi and the Titan Upload Network. And I do have a couple sources, and they are reliable sources. I actually have two. And so they are very reliable. I know people probably make fun of me here and there for saying that. But, hey, you saw it. The proof is in the pudding. The YouTube date doesn't lie. Y'all saw the live show I had last week. So the proof is in the pudding. And that's what kind of content you're going to get here. If I have a strong lead on something, I will say it. If I think it's kind of iffy, I'm not going to bring it out because, honestly, I don't want to look like an idiot. But I will eat crow, too, so when I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, I had a reliable source. I gave it to you guys, and, y'all run with it. And so I appreciate y'all. Let's see, Ramba Mode 92. I'm here to tighten up. Thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. I know I had about 80 subs today. We had a bunch of views, so it was awesome. Did you change your name, Ramba Mode? I'm not sure if you change your name or whatever, but Coda says 7.5K on that video. That's crazy, right? That's so crazy that it got that many views. And I know on YouTube Studio, when you're a content creator, I will tell you this, when you're a content creator, you have a thing called YouTube Studio, and you can look up. So, and it shows it faster on YouTube Studio. It's at 8,200 views. So eventually those views will show in the actual YouTube app. But as of right now, it's my highest clicked on video. It's my most watched video, most commented, most subscribed video. So y'all are killing it for me. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Y'all are killing it for me and the Upload Network. So hats off to you guys, MB, that was cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. Blabber all you want, bro. Tighten up. Great show. Thank you. I appreciate that, Paulie D. Lisa, yes, great show. Al Pierce with the classic moniker, go Titans, kick Houston Texans, fell Oilerstruck. So there you go, to Pastor Al Pierce, Oilerstruck himself. Ducky, what's up, Ducky, man? Ducky's my buddy, fellow cat owner, cat lover. So I don't know where my little guys are usually sitting on the table here while I'm doing shows, but they're not here right now. I guess they're sleeping. So I got two cats, man. They're awesome. So I don't know. I might have a picture of them here. Oh yeah, here's Titans Rusty here. So that's Titans Rusty. He usually sits here with me on the sits right next to the computer during the whole show. He usually does. He hasn't much this game, but that's my little dude there. I don't have dogs. I just have cats. So love those two little guys. They're like my children. So, and I have heard that Buck Rising is a big cat fan too. So, if you watch Buck Rising at all, Lisa says hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. Coda says going to hit 1K in no time. I think so. I think we're going to hit 1K before the season. Help us get there. Help us get us to 1K. When we get to 1K, I don't do this for money, but it'll be cool to get monetized. When you get to 1K, you can get monetized, and it'd be cool to make a little money off this thing, and I'll put it all back into the channel. Upgrades for cameras, for graphics, for everything. We'll put it all right back into the channel and make it happen. I'm Chase the cat, man. I have a cat named Kirby Boo Smear. So there you go. Lisa says cutie for the cat. I know y'all aren't talking about me. You're talking about the cat. So there you go. I believe Buck gave out tickets today, and I missed it. Oh, man, I wish I could. Well, I couldn't win anyway. I got to work. 1K by New Year's. That is the goal, guys. That is the goal, to get 1K by the end of the year. So that is my goal. I think we can get there. I think it could happen. You know what I mean? I really do think it could happen. So I'm going to sign off here, guys. Thank you so much. Tighten up, as we say here at the Titan Upload Network. Tighten up that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Go check out Titan Upload. Show him some love, because, like I said, we are part of this. We're a team. And shout out to Titan Anderson too, and all the other guys. Truth, Tennessee Titans Weekly, all those other guys who are putting in work. The 615 podcast, the Big Sportsman. He'll have a channel soon. If I'm leaving anybody out, Locked on Titans, all those guys, man, all those guys that are putting in work. Shout out to all those guys. So tighten up. Let's go get this win. Let's go get this win on Sunday against the Saints there. Let's do it. We should dominate. We shouldn't have a problem. So we're going to check on out of here. Tighten up. Let's go. Let's get this Super Bowl.
Yo, what's up, Titan? Yo, what's up, Titan Nation? Jalen Fly here. I'm outside the practice facility, man. It's probably about 7 o'clock. About 50-something degrees. I don't know where this wind chill came from. Even got the it's sprinkling out here, but I'll check this out, man. I am not a long shot. I'm not a scrub. I don't know what that perception is. I'm not an underdog. I have the film. I have the coaches who can vouch for me. I train with Coach Paul Alexander. I'm mentored by Coach Jim McNally, Coach John Jenkins. Like, I have legendary NFL coaches who are on my side. I played against top-tier NFL free agents and dominated against them, man. So all I need is one opportunity. I don't know how my name keep getting skipped over, but I'm finna move this mountain right now. We out here right now. We out here right now all day, baby. Praise God.
So like he said, all we need is one opportunity. Tighten up. I'll see y'all later.